I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna play it. Least we forget. This is why thousands risk their lives every day to cross the channel. Not to flee the war, and going the opposite way to go and fight for king and country. Welcome, people. Now, it's strange that days like today, for those who don't know, and it seems as each year goes by, less and less people seem to know, but today is I believe it is the 81st anniversary since the D-Day landings, and obviously a lot of the people that risked their lives, and I'm not just talking about the Allies that had to reinvade Europe to fight the Nazis and secure freedom and democracy in the Western Hemisphere, but also the Germans themselves and their allies, the Axis of so-called evil. They were just as much victims as, well, perhaps not victims, but through propaganda and brainwashing, and Hitler's clever use of his rewriting of history, as well as Goebbels, his propaganda minister. Millions died on both sides, and not only that, while this Great War was taking place, and at the time Britain and Germany and France, and then later the US joined, were like the superpowers. Now we talk like America's the only superpower, although China is becoming one. But while this war was geared up and Europeans fighting Europeans, Westerners, Christians, a lot of the rest of the world was also at war, and resources were taken away from that, and millions died as a result of that. But I'm going to shrink myself now. Yes, and I want to play this clip. It's a few years old, but it encapsulates everything that made Britain great and the Western world great. And I'm actually going to include Russia in that. He's got a lot of potential, and we perhaps wouldn't have won it without him. Unfortunately, Stalin, the original Stalin, I'm not on about Keir Stalin, but he, yeah, he could have done a lot of good, but unfortunately didn't. But I'll play this clip. This is from the 25th
75 years
anniversary.
ago, hundreds of thousands of 75 years ago, hundreds of thousands of young soldiers, sailors and airmen left these shores in the cause of freedom. Many of them would never return, and the heroism, courage and sacrifice of those who lost their lives will never be forgotten. It is with humility and pleasure, on behalf of the entire country, indeed the whole free world, that I say to you all, thank you.
I'm just going to quickly pause it here. Now, D-Day, they don't teach it in schools like they used to. When I was at primary school, I remember learning about the Greeks and the wars with Persia and how they formed their sort of democracy. We learned about the Industrial Revolution, the founding of the Americas, and also the Blitz, the evacuating the children out to the country. In fact, one of the things we did was we had to make his own little like gas mask box, and we had a day where we went in like sort of dressed as the people would from the period and ate food from the period that a lot of people sort of turned their noses up at. And just the sheer people coming together and the will of our nation, and the same of World War Two again, and the will to live and not just survive but prosper, and the innovation that came from it and the improvement of life in general because of all the different things that came together that were being made to kill people, but on the flip side save people, and obviously led to like the Geneva Convention and stuff, and how we say our future's written by our history, and if you don't know your history then you're bound to repeat it. And they're not teaching it in schools. What's the Telegraph? I shall probably get.
75 years ago, hundreds of thousands of young soldiers, sailors, and airmen left these shores in the cause of freedom.
These guys jumping out of these old planes.
Many of them would never return, and the
you know, most teenagers now wouldn't even dare get in something like that. And nor would they want to, especially if here in England, like they're going about this thing about conscription because of Russia. Why would the Russians want to invade England and inherit all our problems? You know, we're already locking up thousands more people for so-called bad tweets than the Russians do. And having to deal with the stupid DEI policies and all this red tape and yeah, why would they want to invade this country? And why was, even though, you know, I'm still, in fact I was getting a bit annoyed, I've been going through some forms on my phone and it never ever gives you the option for English. It's always United Kingdom. But you could pick all these different races and identities. And I was actually getting really annoyed by it when they're going about collecting statistics. And like, I hear the term British Muslim. They didn't say, oh, I'm English, but I'm of the Muslim faith. No, they never say that. It's always, I'm a British Muslim. And they've actually got their own box to tick. They don't tick United Kingdom. They always put that as their second thing. And I see what's happening up and down the country. Like I say, they're not teaching at schools anymore. They're just the whole thing that led up to it. And like I say, if you don't know your history, then you're doomed to repeat it. And it seems that there seems to be an active will to forget it. So it's almost like we're being prepared for a sort of a different kind of war. But I just can't believe these people in the past worked damn hard, crazy hard, some of the jobs, and they didn't have all the luxuries we've got, and built this nation as well as other nations, and what was accomplished. And they're being disrespected, like a lot of them, you know, they've spoke to and see interviews where like can't believe what they went through to see what this country's become and the world as a whole. But yeah, I really wanted to make this video because like every year there's less and less of the veterans, and the equipment, they're trying hard to keep it, restoring it and that. But taking it out of schools and replacing it with stuff that has got nothing to do with our histories and traditions, I think is disgraceful. And yeah, we really do need to not forget that even before World War One, many of the wars, Crimea Wars, and that, Napoleonic, and all that stuff, it really needs to be taught, and the lessons need to be learned for the better of the human race. I'm not going to go on too much now. I think I've said my piece, and I'm obviously a proud English British person. I'm proud to be a Westerner, and even though I don't consider myself Christian, but I do agree with a lot of the values, and this, you know, just over there I've got it's actually aliens, uh, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and I believe in karma, but what I'm seeing at the moment is people speaking hatred or trying to cover up the hatred, people listening to the hatred and then repeating it and perpetuating it, and at some point it's got to come to the point where, because there's tens, if not hundreds, maybe millions like me that want a great future for our kids and our grandkids. And D-Day was a very important day. That was the day that we finally were ready to take the fight to the enemy to reclaim the freedom and the way of life that people wanted, to live in peace and prosperity and not dictated to. And it's a shame to see that slowly being eroded by the rhetoric that we're hearing in the schools and universities and on the mainstream media. And anyway, people, thanks for listening. Population Nation, yeah. And yes, I hope you, if nothing else, just a few seconds just to think about D-Day and what it means, and about making our future great again for everybody. Thank you.